Stay right there.
I'm going to make sure that she is being handled properly.
You can walk over the curb over there if you want to.
I'm actually on public property right here.
Sir, I'm just telling you to step over
I
there.
understand. I know my rights.
You'll go to jail if you don't comply with what I'm asking.
And I'm not doing anything to not comply.
When Sheriff John Feyen was a lieutenant with the Larimer County Sheriff's Office, he arrested me. He arrested me in spite of the fact that he knew I had not broken the law. He knew I had not violated any rules, any procedures. And John Feyen arrested me in spite of the fact that he knew I had not violated a court order that he arrested me for violating. John Feyen knew that I hadn't violated a court order. He knew I hadn't broken any laws. He knew all of that because John Feyen and I spoke to each other on the phone repeatedly, and John Feyen swore under oath that in the interest of justice, I should not be charged with any crimes. The reason he told the district attorney and the judge that I should not be charged with any crimes is because he knew I hadn't been served a court order. So why did he do all of the illegal actions in spite of the fact he knew I had not broken any laws or violated any court orders? Well, by the time he had to admit to the district attorney that I had done nothing wrong, John Feyen, as a lieutenant, had already lied to T-Mobile so that he could tap my cell phone. He had already applied a GPS tracking device to my SUV without a warrant, without any legal authorization to do so. And at that point, he didn't know how to get out of all of the illegal things he had done to me.
New at 10 now, law enforcement put a GPS unit on her car without her knowing it. Now 7 News is asking if that's even legal. 7 News reporter Marshall Zellinger is looking into this, and Marshall, she discovered that device all on her own.
And Teresa, it's not like a GPS device similar to this. We're talking along the line something like this with a transmitter and a battery, and it was found underneath Stacy Lynn's SUV. She went looking for it and found it after she felt like she was being followed.
I actually was horrified, because you just don't expect this.
Stacy Lynn is outspoken about government intrusion, which makes what she found on her SUV that much more disturbing.
It's very difficult to process what an invasion of somebody's privacy that is.
This video shot by Stacy shows a GPS device hidden under her SUV. She searched for it after feeling as though she were continuously followed. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office admits to 7 News it put the device on her vehicle, but the GPS remained on her SUV for 4 months. 7 News confirming deputies tried to get it back, but never told her about it.
They were trying to get it off without her knowing. So it's as if they knew they had done something wrong.
We checked with attorney Dan Recht. He says tracking a person like this is legal if authorities have a warrant or can prove immediate concern for someone's physical safety. We took our questions to the sheriff's office, but they could not answer why they didn't tell Stacy about the GPS or why they tried to get it back without her knowing. We're told Sheriff Justin Smith is trying to find that out. Now, Larimer County Sheriff's Office tells me that this type of device was never actively tracking her car. That would have required a search warrant. We've confirmed that deputies say they tried to get it back by following or going to her car where she was known to hang out. And we've also confirmed they never went to her home to actually get it from her property. Reporting live, Marshall Zellinger, 7 News.
So being handcuffed and arrested to this day causes trauma. I am a law-abiding woman. I believe in the law. I respect the law. I honor the Constitution, and my entire family, extended family, nobody in my entire family had ever been arrested, had ever been in handcuffs, because we believe in the law. The night before I was arrested, while John Feyen and I were talking on the phone about this court order that I supposedly had been served but had no knowledge of, I was actually staying with a dear friend of mine and his wife. That dear friend happens to be a law enforcement officer. He is, to this day, in good standing as a law enforcement officer, and it is inconceivable to me that in order to further discredit me, people insist that I'm a cop hater. They insist that I don't believe in the law, and that's just absolute bullshit. I am the most law-abiding, rule believer, rule follower, respectful of the law and respectful of law enforcement officers. The fact that we have some dirty, corrupt law enforcement officers in Larimer County is nothing new. It happens all across the United States, and the fact that I am willing to publicly show the evidence and talk about the case as it relates to John Feyen and Justin Smith doesn't mean I hate cops. It's the opposite. I have very many friends who are law enforcement officers, who are honorable, who can be trusted, and just because I'm illustrating the few bad apples does not translate into my hate for officers. The few bad apples have contaminated the entire pool of law enforcement officers at agencies throughout Larimer County, and that's on them. Those dirty cops impact the good reputations of the honorable officers, and I'm here not just to illustrate the dirty cops, but also to point out how damaging the dirty cops are to the good cops.
Stay right there.
I'm going to make sure that she is being handled properly.
You can walk over the curb over there if you want to.
I'm actually on public property right here.
Sir, I'm just telling you can step over
I
there.
understand. I know my rights.
You'll go to jail if you don't comply with what I'm asking.
And I'm not doing anything to not comply.